welcome to All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. I'm your host, Dana Arnone, a registered nurse with over 30 years of home health care experience. In today's show, we're focused on the need for increased pay for our workers in group home settings. To get a firsthand look, we feature family residents and essential enterprises, better known as FREE. First, we travel to Old Bethpage for a tour of FREE's headquarters. So let's take a look. Hi, welcome to All Things Home Care. We are out and about with Dana, and we are in Old Bethpage at the FREE facility. And I'm sitting here talking to Susan Sorrentino. So we're here to take a tour and learn a little bit more about FREE. So Susan, why don't we just tell some of our, our listeners out here exactly what FREE is?
We're an organization that is to work with people of all abilities to help realize their full potential and thrive in their communities. So that's really what we do here at FREE, whether it be with housing services, whether it be with employment services, different kinds of medical services or therapies. This is what we do as an organization.
Why don't we take a tour? I'm really interested in seeing exactly what's going on here.
Sure, terrific. We'll just walk through a little bit,
Sure.
just give you a sense and a flavor of what we do here. We support youth on the spectrum, who have autism, and they do a lot of artwork too. And then we curate it, and then we do showings. We have it at certain libraries. We have probably about 12 or 15 collections, and we will rotate them throughout this building. But also, like I said, we have other main buildings, and a lot of like libraries, like I just said, work with us as well too. We have our drum corps that's also very popular, and it's really been kind of renowned on Long Island. They were the first special needs drum corps to compete internationally.
Do they age out in this? Like
They don't.
So they can stay here forever?
They can. Our goal at FREE is to always go from the next level of independence. So if you start off at here, it doesn't mean you wouldn't leave. Maybe you'll get a job out in the community, or maybe you'll do something different. But no, there is no aging out or anything like that. So we have people here easily for 30 or 40 years. These are our FREE players. This is our theater group. And they were right before COVID doing at least 2 shows per year out in public theaters. They've done it at Studio Theater in Lindenhurst. They've done it at Theater 3 in Port Jeff. They do a lot with the East Meadow High School in their theater program.
Are they back to practicing like regular
Yes.
now?
This is like used all the time.
Wow.
Because you can imagine how many rehearsals that you could have. They do their theater rehearsals in here. All our administrative offices are on the top floor. And then all of this down here is, for the people that we support each day. So, and part of the day is not just staying in the center. It is also getting out and engaging in the community. So people may come here, start their day, participate in certain, things that they're interested in participating in, and then they may go out and do some things in the community as well too. Whether it's visiting another theater, they do a lot of volunteer work, a lot of working at supporting different organizations. They come, they go, and they get to go out in the community. And you can see some of the stuff that we have in the photos that they really kind of
Look at that.
enjoy on a day-to-day basis. This is more of a recovery center. So people who are struggling with mental illness or have different diagnoses who can come
So you
here.
want to keep it familiar?
Yeah,
That
and they
makes
can
sense.
get different therapies, and they have the opportunity to speak
This
to
is
a
good stuff, though.
psychiatrist. Yeah, a lot of art. A
Very
lot of
nice.
this is therapeutic in nature too. Nobody's here right now because, again, a lot of with COVID is being done through telehealth. So people are still being able to get their services.
okay.
So there was never an interruption with being
There's
able to receive the services.
There's a lot of rooms here.
Yes.
There's a lot of classrooms.
Office space, and then, like I said, there's different therapy rooms as well too, or where people can receive services. And in the other program, we have a pretty robust, supportive employment program here at FREE. So if you have a job that you want to get, you work with that team, and they help you get placement. They will support you for as long as you need to be supported, and then eventually, ultimate goal is to be independently supported. This is our cafe. This started as a job training program. It's a work training center. The ultimate goal is that, okay, I got my hands-on experience here. I got a lot of support from team members that work here. Now I'm ready for the next step. So yeah, that is kind of a big deal. Like, you were saying graduation,
Yeah,
it's certainly a big accomplishment.
Oh, that's wonderful. Who's Terry?
Terry was the person who helped identify and open our first pros program here at FREE,
very nice.
many years ago.
Do people elect what they'd like to do? Like they say, oh, I'm interested in baking or something? Oh, that's nice, too.
Absolutely. We have, that's part of what we do is, the life plan. We were talking before about self-directed services and people who are able to hire their own staff, that support them during the day.
Yes.
And a lot of those, that's what they do with the opportunities. Sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's volunteering.
What other type of job training do they have?
Oh gosh, it's really about what the person wants to do. So it can be anything. We have people who work in Home Depot. We have people who work in Stop and Shop. We have people who work in offices. It's a large organization, so we have a lot of IT needs. So we may hire people directly that spend a few hours a week working with our IT department. We have a lot of homes, so we do landscaping. So we do contract out some of our landscaping, but we have enough homes that people who really enjoy landscaping, guess what? Now we have a landscaping crew.
Yeah.
And we have a ranch out in Middle Island, which is gorgeous.
Yeah, they were telling us about
Oh my gosh, I live right near it. I live like a mile away from it, so I love it. And 16 acres.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be done there, a lot of landscaping. They have a greenhouse. So those
Right.
all are potential employment opportunities as well too. So you have people who love to grow vegetables, right? So they're engaged in that during the day, and then they're delivering it to food pantries, right? We do Meals on Wheels. Find dynamic and different things to do throughout the day that are meaningful, that people really want to participate in because it motivates them.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be a part of the program, and they want to be engaged in their community.
So is there some people that come here that won't ever get that opportunity because of their situation?
Well, we do have people, some of our programs that do need a lot of hands-on support throughout the day, and you know, their opportunities may be a little bit more limited, but we still are committed to have everybody we support actively engage in the community. What we've started doing better and better over the last few years is working much closely with our school districts. So when you have people that are ready to transition out of high school, they're so much prepared than they used to be maybe 10, 20 years ago. So that helps.
So
that
they
definitely
have
helps.
18 is the minimum age?
Most of our folks are 21 or over because usually they'll stay in their school district till they're 21. So we help people before they graduate. You got to start the process.
I was about to say,
earlier.
when should they start the process? Like, when should someone contact you?
At least 3 years before, because you want to know what's out there. You want to be engaging and going to different organizations and kind of seeing which ones you feel are going to be best for your needs and what you want to accomplish. So you can't start too early. Like 16, 17, 18 years old, should be preparing for that transition into what we call adult services. I've seen it happen, evolve over the years. It's gotten so much better over the years. I mean, we would get calls from families a month before. And back in the day, it was pretty easy to enroll in services. Now it's a little bit more structured. Like, you have to work with OPWDD on eligibility and get all that information, and then you can, work with the providers to kind of see which program that you want to be at. A lot of people don't realize that we have residential homes where, people live 24/7 and our staff will support them in that opportunity. But we also have other alternatives. You have supportive apartments where you can go and live independently in an apartment, and maybe you only need somebody to check in on you a couple hours a week to see if you need some assistance maybe with budgeting or, those kinds of things. So it goes from very much hands-on to very much light touch, that you get the services. The services are designed around what the person needs or wants.
And similar to All Things Home Care, our focus is, just like yours, is to help people maintain themselves in the home as independent as they can and as safely as they can. So I think that there's a lot of synergy here.
Absolutely.
We deal with the elderly and you deal with developmentally disabled, but
Yes.
the goal is still the same,
Yep.
is to how can we help and maintain these people at home?
Absolutely.
And that's where they all want to be, right?
Yes,
as independent
absolutely.
as they can.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, right after I leave you, we're going to be going down to one of the group homes down in Lindenhurst and have a conversation over there. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. Today we are focusing on the need for increased pay for workers in group home settings. To continue our first-hand look into this issue, let's go out and about to Lindenhurst to a group home operated by Free. We are out and about today in Lindenhurst. We are at the Lindenhurst Group Home, and I have the absolute pleasure of sitting and talking with Anita Dowd-Neufeld, who is the Vice President of Housing for the family residents, or what we call Free. And so we're here to talk about this issues that are affecting a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different professions, which is in the home care. So we are here at the Lindenhurst Group Home to talk about the staffing issues that they're having, how the residents are reacting to it, and just the whole industry of the healthcare. So Anita, I thank you so much for the opportunity. I think a little while ago, I used to visit this place when I was a visiting nurse many, many, many years ago. So I'm happy to be back and have the opportunity to see everybody here. So let's get into exactly what is the residence that we're in right now.
Okay, so this is one of Free's legacy programs. This house was developed back in the late 80s, and it is a residence for people with intellectual disabilities. We like to refer it as people that are differently able, though.
I like that.
So folks have been with us many of the folks have been with us for many, many years. This is their home. And we provide services to them and supports in their daily living skills, with money management, making doctor's appointments, getting to doctor's appointments, socialization, recreation, all of their daily living.
So you are their lifeline.
Absolutely.
So in the residence here, you have how many individuals?
We have 11 people who live here.
And the staffing ratio of the care workers to the residents is what?
It's 4.
So you have 4 workers every shift and 3 shifts, so that's 12 people a day.
And we have about 60 hours of nursing too, because the people that live in this home need additional medical supports.
Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about the workers that are here. What is their title?
Direct support professionals.
So the worker that comes here, if someone's interested in becoming or working in a group home, they would call you and say, I'm interested, and what happens after that?
They fill out an application online, and then we get them in for interviews. We usually bring them to the home so they get to meet the people before they commit to us and we commit to them. We want to make sure that they can work with the folks that we are privileged to support. So they'll come to the home, they'll come for an interview. If they like what they see and they feel they can do it, that's fine. Then we make a commitment to them and then to us.
So what are some of the worker retention issues that you're finding right now?
You know, it's the salaries. I mean, the direct support professionals start at $15 an hour. They do go up in their salaries as their training goes up. However, you can't live on Long Island with that type of salary, and many of our staff have second, third jobs. So just to make ends meet and to pay the rent. So that is our biggest obstacle in being able to keep staff here. They love the job, and the people that we support love them. They become their extended families. So it breaks their heart when staff have to leave. But it's all because of the living wage issue.
So in home care, we deal with the same situation as an agency. We are recruiting every day. Our retention is our biggest, one of our biggest focuses. So we try as much as possible to encourage them to. There's other, we give them other benefits. We give them, the shifts that they're looking for. But we still cannot get enough workers. We do not see the workers coming in like we used to. We thought it was unemployment related. So during COVID, we had COVID. I'm sure that affected you as well.
Us too.
And so during COVID, we're like, okay, it's COVID's the issue. Okay, COVID, that's not gone, but it become less of an issue. Then we said, oh, it's unemployment. It's got to be unemployment that's issue. Then unemployment's over, and it's still not coming back.
It's still an issue.
It's still an issue. So when we talk about the staffing crisis as it pertains to your group home here, what is it that they would like to see happen?
It's hard to make a comparable salary. I mean, the state workers certainly that do the same job in the state-operated community residences make a lot more money than what we do in the non-for-profits. So having a comparable wage, I think, would be great. And again, the benefits are important to the staff, especially those who have families. However, I think it's the wage itself because you cannot pay the rent with this type of salary here on the island. My ideal dream would be to be able to raise the salaries to a point that they would be able to pay the rent, they would stay in their jobs, they would be happier, and so would the people we support be happier as well.
Let's go through a day of a worker here. What time do they come, what time do they go, and what do they do all day?
Usually our first shifts start at 6 a.m. in the morning. They get people up, they get them dressed, they get them out to wherever they're going for the day. Some go out to day programs, some go to medical appointments, some just get up and have breakfast. They prepare the breakfast for them. They all have specialized diets, so they have to be knowledgeable of a low sodium, a low sugar diet, what's the consistency of the diet? Is it, pureed? Is it half inch? Is it, full? Consistency, so they have to be aware of that. They prepare the food, and then they start getting people out to wherever they need to go. So we have vans associated with the homes. Some folks go to day programs, other folks go to senior centers, other folks go out to doctor's appointments. So the staff starts scurrying and getting everybody out there, and then they bring them back in the afternoons, and again, usually lunchtime, recreation activities, visits out in the community, so they're all over the place. Doctor's appointments again. We also have a doctor that comes in. This is one of the houses that we actually have a doctor who comes in here, but they have to prepare the files. The nurses prepare the files for the doctors, get all the individuals out and about and available for interviews and everything else with the doctor, so that all works out.
And so their shift stops at 2, and then the next shift comes?
Then the next shift comes in between 2 and 3. And then they prepare dinner, they get them out again, they prepare them for bed, bathing, bed.
I did see some people that require Hoyer lift, so there is definitely a physical training need that goes on.
Absolutely, for Hoyer lifts. There's training for lifting and positioning. There's a training for medication administration. Our staff take a 40-hour course in administering medications, which means they need to know the common medications that they're on. They need to know the side effects. They need to know the charting. And they need to know what medications may interact poorly with other medications, and they need to know how to get that medication from the pharmacy.
All for $15
All
an hour.
for $15 an hour.
I can't.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the normal time frame that they usually will stay here and under your employment, and what's the reasons for leaving?
Yeah, direct sport professionals usually stay between a year and 18 months. That's what we're finding is the average length of stay for them. They leave because of the salaries. They just can't do it. They can't do it. So they'll go, they may hop to another agency because maybe another agency is offering sign-on bonus. So they'll go there and they'll get that bonus, and then some of them even come back to us later on and they'll say, okay, we have retention bonuses. So they'll come back to us for a retention bonus. So they jump around. We have others that do leave for school, and that's a good thing. We encourage that, and here at Free we also have a tuition assistance program. So we really want people to be educated and to move on and to stay with our organization and to move up the ladder with us, and we do have many people with seniority.
If the next shift calls out, what happens?
We have to scurry and get somebody else in because you have to have a minimum of 4 people on per shift. So there has to be somebody else here. Sometimes we'll have to mandate. If we can't find somebody, we have to mandate that person to stay until the next person will come in, or the management comes in and management covers the shift.
So what does that look like as far as overtime is concerned?
Overtime's through the roof in some programs, absolutely, especially these medical programs that are more heavily staffed, and the individuals that we support are more dependent on our care. So there's a lot of overtime coming out.
So see, like from a business perspective, it makes no sense to go into overtime but not give the salaries to the workers, and at least have the retention of keeping them on for a length of time. That's one of the things that we talk about all the time, is that the overtime, it will shut down a business. You cannot maintain, a certain amount of overtime to maintain the safety, of your patients in the community. You have to staff the cases. You have no choice sometimes. Our overtime rate is higher than it ever was. And like I said, I thought the issues were COVID, unemployment, not so much. It's the salary. You can't find people to come into the job because what we're literally asking them to do on an hourly or a daily basis, and when they could, go and become a bus driver for a lot more money. $25 an hour. It makes no sense.
They're exhausted, so they're no good to themselves, and sometimes they're not as supportive as they could be to the people we support.
Yeah. Anita, I thank you so much for your time and for really getting this message out there. It's such an important message for people to hear, but I would love to be able to take a tour of the facility. Is that possible?
Oh, sure, let's go.
Very good. When we come back, we're going to take a tour and meet some of the residents. Hi, welcome back. We're here in the Lindenhurst Group home talking with Anita. And Anita, I'm very excited to be able to take a tour of your home and meet some of the residents here. So where are we right now?
Right now we're in the living room of the Lindenhurst Group home. So I'd like to introduce you to a few folks.
I love it.
Okay, come on. This is Robert. He is our residence manager here, and Robert's been here for a number of years, and he kind of makes sure the schedule goes right, the doctor's appointments get done. Jeannie's been with us for a long time, right, Jeannie? And you got Jerry, and you can see Jerry is a Yankees fan.
So, Robert, let's talk a little bit about your job here and what that means to you.
It means a lot to me, the relationships that are formed and bond here. Sometimes it's just very magical. Meeting new clients every day that comes in and out, just putting a smile on their face.
What would you like to have change in the position that you're in?
The only thing I would just like to change is the compensation, the salary for staff. That's it, because they love to work with the individuals, they love to work with the guys. It's just that sometimes it's kind of hard when they have kids and can't afford daycare. So they got to call out.
When one of your staff people call out, because you're in charge of the scheduling, and you have to find someone to replace them, how easy is that?
That is very hard. Multiple phone calls. If I can't find anybody that's on my company's phone list for this house, then I have to, kind of shop around other houses and ask, do you have any available staff? and even reaching out to a couple of temp agencies that don't
wow.
even hardly have staff for
Okay.
this type of field anymore.
And if that doesn't work, you have to stay?
I have to stay or I have to come in.
And it takes away time from your family as well.
Of course.
Yeah. How's your wife feel about that?
Well, she works in the field as well. She's a care coordinator, but good thing she's at home. But even me missing out on my birthday because I have to come in, or the kid's birthday, she really gets upset. So,
See, that's a shame.
but she knows.
Robert, I thank you so much. You're adorable. I love it.
So this is one of our bedrooms, and this is Charlie. Yeah. Charlie's been with us for a long time here, and he loves his hats, as you can see. So Charlie likes to watch his soap operas, right? He is a happy guy, and he's always very sociable with everybody, and just loves being here, right, Charlie? Yeah. Yeah. Now we're going into the dining room kitchen, and here we have Marianne and Angie. Marianne, when did you come here? About 2 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Why'd you come here?
because of my back and my knee problems.
Back and knee problems, and had a hard time getting around, and she came here, and she's doing better. So, and she wants to move on back to the apartments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Angie, who's our operations director. She used to be the manager of this house, and she moved up in the agency, and she is now oversees about four or five homes now.
Very nice.
Yeah, so.
So Angie, we were talking before and about your job and the job that you guys do here.
Part of the issue is that we are short right now. A lot of it has to do with our salaries. For the direct care support especially, they are the hands-on, they are the frontliners, and they're the ones that need to be able to survive, especially on Long Island. So salary is definitely an issue.
So what would you like the salaries to go up to?
At this point, 20 is what we're hearing. We do a lot of interviewing with everything going on, pandemic and so forth. Other places out there are offering more money, and the work that's done here is hands-on, and it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
We always compare ourselves to McDonald's. I mean, McDonald's paying $15 an hour, and it's a lot easier to flip burgers and make French fries than it is to do what we do here. I'd like to introduce John. John's been with us from the late 80s. He's been with us for a long time, right, John?
Yeah,
And he always wants his room. He always says to me, Anita, this is my room, right?
yeah.
And he never wants to change rooms because he loves this room, and he decorated it with all the things that are important
Yeah,
to
it's
him.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was at home, I did more things in there.
Right.
See, I used to, when I was out, stand up, I made my bed by myself.
Oh.
I
Yes.
fold my clothes by myself.
You're an independent guy.
He is.
Yeah.
He
Yes, I
is.
can tell.
Yeah. So Dana, this is our backyard. We have patio equipment. People like to sit out here during the day on a nice day. They have sometimes little parties.
Very nice.
Their families come over, the ones who have families, and they socialize out here. So it's all good stuff. That's a fully accessible van. And we have another van for people that are ambulatory, so we don't have to take out the big one all the time.
Yeah, but see, that's another thing you're asking to do, drive around a bunch of people.
Absolutely,
Okay,
because we
that's
make sure that because it's a bigger vehicle, that they know
Yeah.
how to judge
Yeah, I would
it,
think so.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
and it's a lot. You're asking them to be responsible for a lot of different things.
Yeah, they have to be a jack of all trades
Yeah,
in this job.
yeah,
you
yeah.
absolutely. But you know what? Once you can do this job, you can do any job
Yeah,
because you
that's
learn
true.
a little bit about everything.
That's
You
very
do.
true. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come and view one of the residents that Free has. Just giving people the inside look to how important these jobs are and what type of person, the special individual that it takes to do this job. I don't even see how there could be a debate for a wage change.
Oh, thank you, Dana, for coming. We really want to get the word out because these people love their jobs
Yeah.
and we want them to stay. They want to stay, but
Yeah.
they've got to make more money.
Yeah, listen, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer.
It really is a no-brainer. But I do thank you for the opportunity. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. If you want to know more about the topics we covered today, or someone you know needs assistance, you can find numbers, links, and watch all of our episodes on our website, allthingshomecare.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And please always remember, there's no one more essential than those who come to care for us in our home. See you next time.
All Things Home Care elevates and supports home health caregivers by providing transportation and promoting education to better care for homebound seniors and the disabled. To find out more or to make a donation, visit us at allthingshomecare.org.